Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Heather and this is Create Your Own Cozy. On this week's video, I'm doing some more updates to my booth. Sales have been a little light as to be expected in April, so I'm using this time to use some thrifted items that I have to make my space better and to sell my papers and items in there a little bit better. If you want to see what I do and how you can apply it to your own space, stick around. Let's get started with project number one. I published an extra video this week where I showed you guys some stuff I got from an estate sale, and I found 4 of these gorgeous gold frames. They were originally listed for $5 a piece. I got them for $2.50 a piece. All I'm going to do with these is clean them up. This flip is going to be a pretty easy one. I'm going to clean them up. I'm not doing anything to the gold frames because I feel like the end result and how rich they look is totally money. You know what I mean? So what I'm going to do is I am going to put some of the JRV rice paper in here. These rice papers retail for $3.95 a piece. And update your stuff so well. Now these are 8x10 frames, and you'll see that there's a little bit of space on each side that I can cut down and decide what part of these particular pictures I want to use. The ones that I'm using today are called English Forest and Pastoral River, and they are the JRV rice papers and are in my stores at Angry Mama's Antiques and Interiors and Soul Sisters, as well as on my website at www.createyourowncozy.com. This is going to be my little bonus project for the week. You can see at Angry Mama's, I kind of have my papers on little waterfall hooks, and it made it really difficult to shop. So I got this rod on Amazon. I'll put that in the description below in case you guys want to look for those. They come in sets of 2 and they are amazing. And because of where the studs were, I had to put a piece of wood behind it to anchor into the studs, and then I could put the rods on the wood. And I think adding the stuff to the hooks just really updates the shopping experience for the shoppers. And you'll see that I did change the color of my decoupage and rice paper sign. Some of you guys mentioned it kind of blended into the wall before, so I changed the color to be a deeper color and added a stencil sign. What do you guys think now? For project number 2, I'm going to update a piece that I had updated before. This was originally in my home. It was solid brown from Hobby Lobby. I painted it white, and guys, I'm kind of over white these days. So I decided to go over it with 2 coats of the new Cottage color from DIY paint called Juniper. My daughter Piper said, you need to paint this green. So I did. I am using the Little Dipper brush here from DIY paint as well, and just getting 2 solid coats on here. Now this is one with a top coat built in, so there is not wet distressing involved, but if you just let it dry a little bit and then use a wet wipe pretty much immediately after it's dry, you can slightly distress it without sandpaper. Once it cures all the way though, this would not be possible. So I wanted the browns and the whites to come back through. I do like that old age look after all. So I just attempted wet distressing on an all-in-one paint. And again, wait until it's a little bit dry and you can get some of these raised edges rubbed off. And I am bringing this into my booth to add some dimension to my wall space. I mean, I put this shelf for sale, but I wanted to add some interest and examples of the color Juniper in my booth. For project number 3, I am trying to have a little medium or small piece of furniture in the wings waiting for when I sell one. And I got this little side table for free, just a little bit back, and decided it just needed an update. So this bottom part was broken and I'm trying to pry it off here. And just like in last week's video, I am popping stuff off with the hammer and I love it. It feels so good. So I'm just removing this decorative piece and I feel like it simplifies this piece of furniture so much better. And as I was cleaning this up, realized that this one is a bleeder. All the tannins were coming out. It wasn't just dirt coming out when I was cleaning it up. So I decided this guy needed to be primed, and I'm going to use DIY Salvation Solution in the color white. It comes in white and clear if you want your wood to come back through. That is an option. So I'm going over these edges with an orbital sander, and it really did get all of these little marks out, so that all I had to do was go over it with Salvation Solution. I just did one coat of Salvation Solution and I did not have any trouble with bleed through. And I am happy I decided to do that. I feel like if I would have not this time, I would have paid for it. Now I'm using Cottage colors again. Apparently I am just really loving these. This is Plum Pudding. It is this gorgeous deep purple. I think it looks so, so rich. I did 2.5 coats of this. The white underneath really helped make sure that there was no bleed through, but I wanted to make sure that this Plum Pudding came out with a very rich color. So I'm just going over the whole thing. The first coat is always a doozy. Do not panic. That second coat has a much richer look to it. And then I just did some spot touch-ups where I missed. I don't want to tell you how long I have been meaning to do these next 2 projects. You will see that I have these little wall shelves. One is a corner shelf, one is just a little, it's puny, a little puny wall shelf. I got them for like $1 a piece at the thrift store and thought these are going to add some really cool spaces to my booths. I'm not expecting to sell them, but again, it's ways to add some dimension. I will put them for sale. That would be really cool. So I'm going over this one right here with 2 coats of Skeleton Key. I love this color. 2 of my walls in my Angry Mama's booth is this color. And I'm just going over it, and then I'm deciding I want some texture. And the great thing about the clay DIY paints is you can add texture if you want. I'm just kind of stamping on some of the clay paint to add some texture. I am going to add some wax over the top of this and want that texture to kind of come through. So after I do this, I decide to add a Conservatory Label mold. This was part of the new release from the IOD stuff. All IOD products are on my website. This one, however, is sold out, but word on the street is in mid-May, we will be able to reorder them. I just love, love, love this mold. I feel like it is so versatile. I could not decide how I wanted to label this, so I didn't. I just glued this clay with Titebond glue to the front here, and I painted it also skeleton key after it dried, and then went over the whole thing with clear wax and then some white wax, and really love the look of this. I don't know that I love how it sits against my pegboard wall at Angry Mama's. I might end up moving it to my other booth because that is just a regular wall and it would sit against the wall better. But I'm glad to have this project done. Is there stuff like this in your own home or space that you can quickly finish and elevate your space? Corners can be such dead spaces, especially in a booth. So when I grabbed this a while ago, I knew that I wanted to somehow use my corner space. So I am going over it with Praire Grey. Now I did put Praire Grey next to my new favorite Cottage color, Provincial, and they are very similar in tone. So because I wanted to add some texture to this, I decided to go with the Praire Grey clay base paint. And after 2 coats, I opened up a new to me Classic Elements IOD mold, and I make sure I put some cornstarch in there, and then I put the IOD clay in there, use the micro rim to make sure the back is nice and flat and the edges are crisp, and then glue it on with Titebond glue. I did have one of these upside down, but it does not adhere immediately, so it was easy to just flip around. After it was completely dry, I painted the whole thing Praire Grey, then decided to seal this one with liquid patina and then go over the whole thing with dark wax. Because I did the stippling or stamping and adding a little bit of texture, it is a really interesting look to this piece, so much different than the way it started. And I decided to put it up in the corner and put my picture and my contact information so people can kind of just look up there, see how they can follow me on social media, but it's not something that people have to get on a ladder to purchase something. I think this is a great addition to my space. What do you guys think? So what did you guys think? I'm so happy with the way that my decoupage and rice paper looks now, and even adding the stencils to that space. It's much easier shopping experience, and it takes up less real estate in my booth. And I just think it looks nice and clean. Just with the little signage addition and tweaks, and I feel like it is a much better space. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite project was, if there's something that you got inspired to try within your own home or booth space. If you're new here, my podcast interview went out on Sonnet's podcast and Sonnet's Garden Blooms YouTube channel. So if you're new here from there, welcome. I am so glad you've decided to check us out here over at Create Your Own Cozy. Please consider subscribing, hitting that notification bell all so you get notified every time I upload a new video. Guys, I am so thankful that you are here. I hope that you are feeding your creative soul, and I will see you guys in the next video.